Welcome again. This is the Dr. Goof, and today I'm going to walk through a couple of tips on how to get started on this week's Scratch Challenge, which is called Bucket Ball Catcher. I believe that's what it's called, but it's Scratch Challenge number 2. Here's what we're going to do. Right in here, I'm just going to jump into Create One. Click on the Create button. Click here to enable Flash. And the allow button shows up. I will click that. This should bring up another screen. The first thing I want to do, I want to get rid of this sprite. So I'm going to delete that sprite and I want to add a bucket. There isn't actually a bucket sprite. You could make your own. I'm going to use the bowl. It almost looks like a bucket and it's an appropriate size. I'm going to move it to the bottom. The next thing I need to do with that, I need to add an event. I'm just going to make this bucket so I can move it left and right. I'm going to add a when the green flag is clicked. I'm going to add some control loops into here. I'm going to put in a forever. And all I need is here is an if statement. If arrow is left, I want to move left. If arrow is right, I want to move right. A couple of different things that I wanted to do in here. I want you to be able to push the right arrow button and the bowl is going to keep moving to the right until you hit the left arrow button, and then it's just going to keep moving left. How do we code that up? We're going to need a variable, and we're going to call the variable bucket speed. So type in bucket speed into there. When we originally start our program, I'm going to set the bucket speed to be equal to, we will just leave it at 0. We'll set the bucket speed equal to 0. Now we need to put in 2 if loops, one for if we're moving right and one for if we're moving left. Let's drag in 2 ifs. There's the first if. There's the second if. Then we need to put in sensing if the key is pressed. Let's go with right arrow on top. Drag in another one. Left arrow there. Now we have to go into our motion. And all we need to do now is we need to move. Actually, let's skip over that for a second. Inside here, if we're in the right arrow, we want to set our bucket speed to a positive number. That's what we're going to do. So we will set bucket speed to +3. If the left arrow is pressed, we will set bucket speed to -3. Then the next thing we need to do, every time we go through this forever loop, we're just going to move bucket speed. So we're, instead of moving steps, 10 steps, we're going to drag in, move bucket speed steps. Now let's run this, and we will see what happens if I press my arrow keys. I move left and right. And you can see the bucket speed up in the top is changing when I press the left and the right arrow keys. There you have it. That's enough to get started in how do you make your bucket move back and forth across the bottom. One other thing I'd maybe add in there, you may want your bucket to always start out in the middle. So you can go into motion and set your XY coordinates to be wherever you want it to be set in the middle. Now every time I play the game, if I start it, let me hit the green flag to start it. It moves left, it moves right. If I stop it, now if I start it again, the bowl or the bucket comes back to the center again. That's how you get started moving your bowl back and forth. Good luck with that.